First time. Breaking ball rips center field. Cedric Mullins going back. That is gone. A dead center dinger. Or is it?
I think that's a home run.
Now De La Cruz remains at second base. The entire Reds dugout is saying challenge. There are index fingers twirling for all those Reds down there. Here comes Terry Francona. Let's take another look. The Reds are challenging. It looks like it spun over that wall. That's off the top there. Did that spin keep it in?
Right off the top of the wall. That concrete that's right behind the padding. Bet you couldn't do that again in a million years.
The angle and spin to have that ball not clear.
Hit right between the pad and the concrete and bounce straight up into the air.
Now right now De La Cruz is the only man on base. He stands at second. Trevino scored easily. Espinal had come around. So the Reds would have the lead here. Here it is on top of the wall, and it looks like it hasn't cleared. Is that going over the padding there?
Right on that back ridge of the padding where it's fastened to that concrete.
Have you ever seen a ball hit like that?
Yes, I actually have. I just don't remember a ball hitting like that and coming back into the field of play.
Right. That's where it went. And the replay center back in New York.
That's a tough angle to have for anybody. I think it's going to stand as a double.
Here we go.
After review, further ground rules, the ball hit. It's a home run.
It is a home run for De La Cruz. It's 3-1 Reds.
How about that? That's a big break for the Reds.
And Elly swings the first pitch, lifts one high in the air to center. It's carrying, it's deep, and it is gone. No, they're going to say it's in play. One run's home. Here comes Espinal around third. He's going to score. And Elly ends up at second base with a two-run double. There was no signal from an umpire that it was gone. Elly thought it was out. I think the Reds thought it was gone. I certainly did. I think even Cedric Mullins thought it was gone. And now Terry Francona is not happy.
Yeah, he's going to ask the umpire crew to get together right here and review this. And remember, this was the original reason they put replay review in.
That ball was right off of the concrete at the top of the wall, behind the pad.
Play on the field was called in play. We have a crew chief review for a possible home run.
It's a crew chief review.
So really the way it's structured is that there's a cement wall, maybe a metal wall, and then it's got padding on it. The padding goes all the way to the top of the wall. I imagine that if it hits the top of the padding, the ball stays in play.
Right.
If it hits the top of the metal or the iron back there, I got to think, I know that at Great American Ballpark, it's a home run if it does that.
Yeah, if it hits anything behind the wall, it's gone. But, Chris, I don't think there's anything back there for it to hit. So I think it is going to be a double.
Yeah.
But it's a two-run double either way. even if it's not a home run, the Reds have still taken the lead 2-1 on a ball that right off the very top of the wall. I mean, here's the question that I have. How does the ball that's going back like that, I need a physicist here, hit the wall, the very top of the wall, and then bounce back toward the field of play?
Backspin.
I guess so. It's like your golf shots earlier today, right? Because it definitely hit. Basically, all you have to look at is the wall itself, like you were describing, is the concrete wall. The padding is just the padding to protect players from the wall. So even if it hits the concrete behind, well, looking at it from behind, that's a metal railing that's actually recessed behind. I thought it was concrete, but we just got a different look at it. It's actually a metal railing behind the pads, and because that's a metal railing, that's got to be a home run, right? Because that metal railing is not exactly part of the wall.
If it indeed hit the metal railing, they may say that it hit only the padding. I mean, they're taking a hard look in New York at this on the replay review. Here it is.
After review, per the ground rules, the ball was hit. It's a home run.
So there you go, Marvin Hudson relaying word from New York that it is in fact a home run. It's a 3-run blast for Elly De La Cruz. That home run is his third, or his fourth of the season.
Friend of ours, I've known him.
De La Cruz, deep center. Cedric Mullins ran out of room. That ball is apparently still in play. It's called a 2-run double on the field and a 2-1 Cincinnati lead. De La Cruz thinks he hit it out.
Well, you know, Cedric usually, if the ball is that close to going over the wall, we saw him last night, he's going to jump for it.
Yeah.
And he stopped. If you look at his body language, but again, maybe he got the top lip of the fence. But normally, of course, it was drilled, so maybe he didn't have a chance to get back. So I guess that ball stayed in.
Yeah.
And now the play on the field was called in play. We have a crew chief review for possible home run.
Well, all right.
You know, while we're talking about that, how'd you get along with the refs in the NBA?
It's a little love-hate relationship with the refs. You have your favorites and you have the ones that you know.
Did they have you as a favorite?
Well, there's certain ones you know, like they're going to make you work for your money that night or your win, whatever.
Yeah. I think if you played 18 years, you must have had a pretty good relationship with the officials.
Yeah, like I said, there's a couple that I know are probably that I believe will make the right calls, and there's a couple that I think I might have said something a couple years ago that still hold a little grudge on it, but
if you want to name names, platform's free. We get a camera for you to look at.
Hey, I can if I wanted to now. They can't kick me out anymore.
Can we take a look at the first pitch here? Since you and Charles had the bet, we can see who. I mean, you already told us you owe Charles $100, but
let's see, man. Let's take a look. Let's go to the replay.
Got the sunglasses on. Love the hat, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Front of the mound, smart. And
but no, it isn't though. See, because you would have.
It's a high strike zone. It's a high strike zone.
If you actually had gone to the pitching rubber,
that's what
it would have been a strike.
I was told not to go to the rubber.
Well, no, that's a good idea. I told you remember the name Joe Namath?
Yes.
Great quarterback.
Yes.
So he's throwing out the first pitch. I said, Joe, whatever you do not go on the dirt. He went on the dirt. It wasn't bad as 50 Cent, who hit the mascot.
Oh yeah.
But it was close.
Well, yeah. The worst part about that, I was just like. Talk to my kids about how good of a baseball player I am, and then I go out there and do something like that right in front of them.
But they love you. They'll overlook it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to hear the end of it, though. It's going to be a long drive home.
After review, per the ground rules, the ball was hit. It's a home run.
All right, so ground rules. So because the ball hit beyond the padded wall, that'll be why De La Cruz gets to eventually jog around the next two bases. So it is a 3-run home run because it hit beyond that padding off the concrete area, and it is a 3-run homer. So watch, there's the padded wall, and then there's that concrete behind it. And because it strikes the concrete, it's a home run for De La Cruz, and Cincinnati leads it 3-1.
Trevino's at third, Espinal's at first. Elly De La Cruz hits one in the air to center field. It backs up Mullins, still going back, turning around, and that's out of here. I think it left the yard. He's at second base. 2 have scored. It's at least a 2-1 Cincinnati lead. Mullins had that in range, it looked like. And then he turned around, and they're going to have to review this. It looked to me like it got over the wall by the naked eye.
It appeared that it got over the wall, and it's going to be a crew chief review, it appears. And it looked like it hit off the top part of the wall. I'm not sure if it hit something else.
Jeff, this is the third time this homestand we have seen this, and we've never seen this before.
I mean, this is bizarre.
The play on the field was called in play. We have a crew chief review for possible home run.
That's Marvin Hudson. It hit off maybe the top of the wall and somehow came back into the field of play. It's either a 3-run homer and a 3-1 Cincinnati lead, or it's a 2-run double and a 2-1 Cincinnati lead. I've never seen that before.
I mean, this is just bizarre. I mean, Ryan O'Hearn's home run last night, it hit off one of the pipes beyond one of the signs out in right center field. It doesn't look like there's anything right behind the wall. There isn't. So this might have just hit off the top of the wall and stayed in play.
And maybe the wall there and where the padding ends and the concrete begins, the pure concrete angles just enough to kick that ball back into play. That is a strange one. What's really strange also is Mullins was running back like he had it in range, and then it took off on him. I mean, Mullins, it looked like he was about to turn around just before the warning track in dead center, and that ball carried out.
I mean, what are the odds, Brett, that we're going to have a review on basically some play that you almost never see, and the ball hits off the very top of the wall, and you have another crew chief review? I mean, it's just bizarre that we see this in back-to-back nights with a ball twice hitting off the top part of the wall.
But it happened earlier in the homestand, too, with a home run by Mullins that kicked back into play.
It's unreal.
I mean, I've been watching baseball here since 1992. I may have seen it a few times, but 3 times in one homestand. We know that Espinal and Trevino have scored, and Cincinnati has the lead as they review this in New York. Right now, it's the second base umpire, Trip Gibson, and the crew chief and first base umpire, Marvin Hudson, talking over between home plate and third base in the infield. And we'll have a ruling here shortly. Here we go.
After review, per the ground rules, the ball was hit. It's a home run.
Not much of an explanation there from Marvin Hudson. But you were right, Brett. It did go for a home run.
It looked that way to the naked eye here, even though we're, 2 football fields away. But it's a 3-run homer off Povich here in the top of the third. And again, this top of the third has been a real trouble spot for these Orioles pitchers. For De La